we didn't exactly cut in, and we can see the, well, initially what happened was I had one set of color and then I mixed the silk version and the matte version together, which was a terrible mistake, as the new mixture is a different shade than the previous one. So we need to do a second coat just to make everything great again. Let me take you closer so you could see where I have used the two different colors. Now, that wasn't me, that was before. But we're going to paint the architraves and the skirtings, so that should be okay. So first thing we'd do is we'd lay a piece of fabric on the floor, just in case if we have any accidents, we don't ruin the carpet too much. So let's leave you here. We could either cut in one wall, paint it, or we can cut in the whole room and then paint. Let's see what would be better. This is a double sheet, it's a duvet cover, so it would be able to take the paint. Just get another sheet. Ideally, it'd be a good idea to cover it in a roll like this. This is a thick plastic. It's reverse wound, so it's easy to cover it. The thing is, this roll costs something like £40, and it would manage to cover just one room and a half. So this job doesn't have the budget for this. However, we can use these fabric sheets instead. Now, ideally, instead of moving these sheets, if you have the setup ready, it's much easier. Now, what I could do, okay, now we've somewhat covered, we can bring the tray, the paint, and we'll be ready. So let's bring a tray. I have this tray that I used. Overnight, I covered it in that plastic film, and as you can see, the paint is safe in this tray. If we take it off now, gently, this just helps. Instead of getting things ready again, you're ready to go. The paintbrush is still wet. I mean, the paint roller, sorry. That's my old paintbrush from yesterday. Still good. We'll use this to cut in all along the edges, all along those edges, around the switches. We won't take them off. Ideally, you should take them off to get a perfect finish. However, we're short of time. We've got probably 2 hours, less than that, to get the job done. Thank you. Let's get on with it. Is this getting in your way? Shall I move the door? Maybe like so. I think ideally, I need one more sheet. Okay, we'll use this one. Just so we can leave our tray on here and not worry too much. I want to keep my tray on the left. As I'm right-handed, I'd move across on the right. Usually setup takes the longest time, but once you're in the groove of it, it's such a delight. Okay, so we'll just, actually, I have the perfect thing. The perfect thing. Look what I have here. Now, this is great. So you know how we get milk bottles? Sorry, so you know how you get milk bottles? I just thought, instead of ruining a new container, I could just cut the milk bottle. That's a milk bottle top. And now I can put paint in here. And I can carry this around to help me cut. This out of the way. Now I can just carry this with me. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. Okay. Let's go. So nice long strokes. Initially we'll take our time. It always takes a little while to get going. And imagine if we had stilts on. We'd be able to go without the stool. Now this is the only stool I have, and we shouldn't be on the top step, as that's the weakest and it could destabilize you, but I'll try and be careful. Now, I want to try and be very exact and precise, but I don't need to, as the top trim would be getting a fresh satin white paint. It's satin, as it's not as glossy as gloss, and it's not as matte. It's somewhere in the middle. It's very good, nice to look at. Having a new brush, that's the secret of getting good results. When we're reusing brushes, it can save cost, but the bristles, they really mess up. As this is going to be my final coat regardless, I'm going to try and be slightly generous with it. Painting one room comfortably would take around 5 hours. Some people are fast. I think the preparation, the cleanup. I think I'm not going to make it too wide, as I'll come back with a roller. I'm just going to try and get it right to the edges. I think after some time, you start getting accurate. And it does form somewhat of a uniform line. I hope you can hear me actually. It'd be terrible if I was mumbling. I need to get a mic. I think a mic would make the audio experience better. All right. I actually initially thought one coat would be enough for this room. I made that terrible mistake of mixing the paints. I mixed the silk version of this color and matte version for the main coat, and it had a different shade. The silk version was lighter than the matte version, hence why I need a second coat now. But for this one, let's try and just do this wall. So we've done the top. Now let's come here, we'll do the top of the door. Initially I wasn't a big fan of this color. This is Chic shadow. But now, it's grown on me. It's this light grey. Nice for the bedroom, I guess. Relaxing. Some people are not a big fan of grey. Some people prefer a more cream colour, a magnolia, or natural hessian, or some sort of variation like that. Gentle fawn, that's another good. Elephant's breath. I've never painted with it, but I've heard great things about it. Let me do this corner. Nice. Painting is one of the quickest ways to just revitalize the entire room. And I know a tub of paint costs have doubled in the recent years. But for £50, let's say, per tub, if you were to paint it yourself, that'd do wonders for your mental health, I guess. The way you feel when you wake up, walk around the house, everything's just a little more fresh. Ideally, I would love to bring you in closer, just so you can get a sense. Actually, let's do that. After I've done this line, let me bring you in close when we're working around the switches. Taping everything would be good. You could be rough, it'd be quicker. However, it does take a little bit of time to get the tapes exact. And I just feel that adds on to the cost as well, as a roll of tape would cost you around £5, unless you buy in bulk. And I guess you can pass the savings on to the customer if you are quite quick and pretty accurate at painting without taping. Now, taping would give you excellent results if the tape is applied well, and that would mean you'll need to take time to apply the tape. So in a job that you've priced accordingly, then you can use the tape, provide the appropriate results. However, that would come at a cost, and that cost would most probably be, well, it would add one more day and £100. So whatever you're charging per day, I guess, plus 100. So if you're on a £150 a day, that'd be 250 added on to your final price. So let's try and bring you here, possibly, if that's better. Okay. We can come here. Now, that wasn't me. That was the grey on the architrave before. It doesn't matter, as we're gonna go over it. But let's see if we can. So what I tend to do is I get close, and then on a second pass, get the tip very, very close. You can take your time, and sometimes you might need to come back again, but would come back during the finishing. If we do get it on, it's not the end of the world. We can just wipe it with a damp cloth. Okay, I know we're not extremely close, and this is why it's much better to remove these two screws to get the plate out and paint around. But for that, we'll need to turn the electrics off, and it would just add on another hour to the job. And we don't have an hour. We should be finished in an hour. It may look as if this is taking ages, but once we're in the flow of things, we'd move fast. And painting with a big roller, that's the quickest. It'll probably take us 20 minutes. Okay, I'll just go back again. Okay. The corners that are a little difficult, but we'll just come close. I think I have performance anxiety. I know you're here, I know you're watching. And that's terrifying to me. I don't know why, it feels like the teacher's here. The teacher's here. The teacher's not happy with the work. That's what it feels like. But I'm sure, once we're finished, I'm not gonna quit until it's decent. Right? So I will get better at working with the camera here. And that's when I would know I'm in the flow of things, when everything... Oh, okay. I don't know why, just I can't seem to get... Oh, yeah. We got it. We got it. But a stray bristle has gone onto the switch plate. It took ages. It took ages. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty pathetic. But we're here now. We've started. So let me go put you back. Can't handle the stress. Okay. Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Hope you're happy, you're healthy. And I hope you paint a wall pretty soon. It's amazing. Okay. See you in a bit. Okay, okay. That noise you hear is the flush. Now there's a tiny little leak in the toilet. The flush valve seems to be not closing properly and it's causing tiny leaks from the flush constantly. So in an hour, twice the tank fills up. But when you look at the toilet, you wouldn't think the leak is worth doing anything about. But I'm going to have to tell the landlord and report that so they can fix that. Otherwise, the water bill, that'd be too much. I think it's a good idea to stretch before painting. And sometimes I think I need to that's more better. Oh, oh. I'm thinking now that maybe it's a better idea to go cut everywhere, do all the tops. We've done this wall, and then we'll come to this switch around this door, around these switches if we want. dear. Oh dear. Okay, let's go there. Okay. All right. Now we're ready. We're ready again. I don't know why. How did it get? Got my milk bottle. I'm gonna try and get close. Yeah. And now, okay, I will go back. Okay. Okay, we've got a little section here. Uh-oh. Made a little mistake. I'm going to try and get it off with my glove. That's why it's good to have a piece of towel or a wet cloth. Now, it doesn't matter too much. We are going to paint the trims again, but still, it's just less work for us later on. Hello, Fikitiki. Hello, Zachary. And hello, Raduk Luca. Hi. Okay. Whoa. Put it. You there. Think there. You'd be able to see. Let's move this out of the way. Some areas you just have to tape.